What's up, y'all? Back again today with a very special video. So today I have a very important video to bring to you guys, and I'm just gonna go straight on into it. Full disclosure, I have a little set of notes that I wrote just to keep me on track, because if you know anything about me or my channel or my videos, I tend to just be everywhere. I have ADD, so you know, I'm gonna try to keep this argument as concise and on point as possible. Usually I freestyle it based on the things that I had been, you know, brainstorming, but like I said, I wanted to write these things down because there's a certain things that I wanted to mention about this particular video. The video is called Dear Lisa Leslie. I want to make this video for Lisa Leslie particularly. I want everyone else to watch it and understand what I'm bringing out of this video. If you don't know who Lisa Leslie is a very famous, maybe possibly one of the most famous WNBA players, which is the female version of the NBA. Lisa Leslie has been in the game for a while now. As a matter of fact, I think Lisa Leslie was the first female in the WNBA to pull off a slam dunk. If I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Lisa Leslie was the first one to slam dunk.
Myers gets it up to Leslie. What's she gonna do? She dunked it! For the first time in WNBA history, someone has dunked in a game. It's Lisa Leslie with the dunk. She did it in practice at the All-Star game. And now, for the first time in WNBA history, a player has dunked in a WNBA game.
She played at the same time that Kobe was playing in the same city. She played for the Los Angeles Sparks while Kobe Bryant played for the Los Angeles Lakers. This is important to note because Lisa Leslie had a personal relationship with Kobe Bryant. Let's keep this in context. Recently, Lisa Leslie was interviewed by Gayle King, and if you don't know who Gayle King is, she's a, we'll call her a journalist, a black journalist, and she's best friends or very close friends with Oprah Winfrey. Gayle King, if you don't know who she is, she's probably most famous, or most recently she's been known as the woman who was conducting the interview when R. Kelly went crazy and just basically just spazzed out on camera. And if you don't remember that, here's a quick reminder.
Don't forget the blogs. Forget how you feel about me. Hate me if you want to, love me if you want, but just use your common sense.
Robert,
Stop it. Y'all quit playing. Quit playing.
Robert.
I didn't do this stuff. This is not me, y'all. I'm fighting for my life. Y'all killing me with this. I gave y'all 30 years of my career.
Robert.
30 years of my career. Y'all trying to kill me. This is not about music. I'm trying to have a relationship with my kids, and I can't do it. Y'all just don't want to believe the truth. You don't want to believe it. I hope this camera keep going.
No, we're going to let the camera keep rolling.
This is not, doesn't even make sense. Why would I hold all these women? Their mothers and fathers told me, we're going to destroy your career. Robert. It's real girls out there missing. It's real young girls out there being abducted, being raped, okay?
You sound like you're playing the victim here. You sound like R. Kelly, you do. When I listen to you, it does sound like you're playing the victim
I'm just telling the truth.
Okay, so I need you to notice a few things about just that clip that I played right quick, right? Because Gayle King, like I said, she's the same one that interviewed R. Kelly. I'm not here to defend R. Kelly, but if you do want to see my thoughts on the whole R. Kelly trial, you can go back to my video, What are my thoughts on R. Kelly? The Angry Black Man. Go watch that video and you'll see my thoughts on R. Kelly. But I do want you to notice about this interview, this quick clip that I just played for you, how passive aggressive this woman Gayle King is. She knows that she's gonna get views, and basically she hit the jackpot when she got R. Kelly to start crying and screaming and cursing and losing his composure, because up until that moment R. Kelly seemed pretty poised and he didn't seem like he was publicly shaken until that moment. And Gayle King the whole time is sitting there just She knows what she was doing.
Quit playing.
Robert.
That's what's called being passive aggressive, where you can't prove that they're being spiteful or petty or vindictive, but we all know that they are. But they're doing it in a professional manner to where you can't really call them out on it. So this is important to note, that this woman, Gayle King, has a history of not only being passive aggressive instead of just being an unbiased journalist, which she should be. All journalists should be as unbiased as possible. Here, this woman is being sarcastic and passive aggressive. We have to note that. And we also have to note that she's most known as the woman who did that to a black man. Now, remember, all of these things are in context, and I need all of us to remember these things. That's why I had to write them down. I'm setting the stage for why this is an important video and why this interview, we need to have a discussion about this interview. I'm also want to give a disclaimer and say this video is not about Kobe Bryant. I made a video about my thoughts on Kobe Bryant's death. You can go watch that live stream. It was about an hour long. I went in on my thoughts about Kobe Bryant and the disrespect towards black men. I'm going to touch on that a little bit, but remember, this video is not necessarily a negative video. This video is an inspirational video. I'm inspired by this woman, Lisa Leslie. So this video is for you, Lisa. If you're watching this, I want you to know that you have done a great thing, and this is why. Before I go in any further, and forgive me for setting the stage like this, but you'll understand why I'm doing this. I need us to understand what is a code, okay? A few, let's just call them black Americans, have coined the term on code, which we have to look at the definition of what a code is. Let's look at the definition. It says here that a code is a system of words, letters, figures, or other symbols substituted for other words for the purpose of secrecy. Remember that, for the purpose of secrecy. People have a code for the purpose of secrecy. Another definition for code is a systematic collection of laws and regulations. So far, we know what we know about a code is that it's meant for secrecy, and there's a certain amount of laws and regulations involved. But I think this is the most important definition of a code. Now pay attention to this. It says here, a code is a set of rules and standards adhered to by a society, class, or individual. Remembering those key definitions for a code, we can understand what it means to be on code. What it means for a person or a group of people to be on code would be simply to have a set of rules and standards that we adhere to for the purpose of secrecy. I submit the idea that black Americans need a code that is productive, efficient, and holds us accountable and responsible for our negative actions, but also protects us when we're being attacked. Now, why would a group such as the quote-unquote black American people need a code of secrecy for protection that they follow amongst each other? Well, I can name a few reasons why we need a code. Moving forward, I want you to look at this quick interview.
When people say arrogant and aloof, that's not what you remember about him. I know it's so interesting. There is arrogance. There is arrogance.
Absolutely, but the arrogance is not in everyday life. The arrogance is in the world of basketball.
It's been said that his legacy is complicated because
of sexual assault charge, which was dismissed.
Is it complicated for you as a
woman,
as a WNBA player?
It's not complicated for me at all. I just have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
And that's possible. I just don't believe that. And I'm not saying things didn't happen. I just don't believe that things didn't happen with force. The media should be more respectful. It's like if you had questions about it, you've had many years to ask him that. I don't think it's something that we should keep hanging over his legacy. I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, but it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
And I think that's how we should leave it.
One of the funny things that I noticed about this, the first thing that I noticed off top was, I'll just say she threw Lisa Leslie an alley-oop and she basically failed it. If you look at the video again, Gayle sets it up to where all Lisa had to do was say, yeah, you're right. She wouldn't even have to bash Kobe. All she had to do was agree with Gayle and it would have been bashing this black man. She said, how do you feel as a woman?
Is it complicated for you as a
woman? And when she says a woman, I want you to notice how she leans in and as almost as if to signal or to trigger Lisa or to play off her sympathy into somehow form a fellowship of sisterhood based on trauma. We see this in real life where a lot of black women, and a lot of women in general, but this video is about black America, a lot of black women unfortunately have formed sisterhoods based on trauma, where they're going out of their way to be vindictive and spiteful and vengeful towards men in general. It's good to form sisterhoods of friendship and fellowship, right? But when you're forming a bond, or if you have a code, like we said, to go against a group of people because you have a vendetta against a few, that's not okay. And in my opinion, that's what Gayle was doing. In my opinion, Gayle was basically giving her an assist, just saying, hey, yeah, how do you feel as a woman that this black man was considered a rapist? And I need you to listen to the language, because as I've told you before, language is important. The woman Gayle says that Kobe Bryant's legacy is often viewed as quote unquote complicated. This is really interesting, because when we look at white celebrities or white so-called icons or legends or people of high status in white culture, we don't see their legacy being called quote unquote complicated after they pass away. People who had even controversies surrounding their names, such as Elvis Presley, who was rumored to have had a relationship with a 13-year-old girl. We have a number of so-called famous white people, and when they die, supposedly we just remember their greatness. George Washington is another one that comes to mind. We don't call George Washington's legacy complicated because he owned slaves that he didn't pay for, and he didn't pay, and he probably was whooping their ass. We don't call George Washington's legacy complicated for that. But when there's a black man, whether or not he was proven innocent or guilty, all he has to have is a accusation on his name from any one of the 7 billion people in the earth, and now his legacy is complicated. Notice that. I gotta hold it down for Lisa Leslie. Look at what Lisa Leslie said. She said, nope, it's not complicated for me. That's not what I remember about Kobe. I've never seen Kobe act out of character. And then this is where it gets interesting, the dialogue between these two women. And I want to note that I need you to realize at home, if you're a man watching this and if you're a woman watching this, this is a perfect example, maybe the most perfect example of the two types of black women. I'm not going to go off on a tangent, but I've said it before in many of my videos that the definition of black is the darkest shade due to either the lack of light or the complete absorption of light. There's two types of black people in this world, the one that's absorbed with light and the one that's void of light. This video perfectly exemplifies a woman void of light versus a woman absorbed with light, and you can clearly see who is who. When Lisa Leslie told her, hey, you know, Kobe he went to trial and he was not found guilty.
See, I mean, it went to trial.
This is where Gayle cuts her off and says, no, the case was dismissed because the victim refused to testify.
See, I mean, it went to trial.
Yeah, but it was dismissed because the victim in the case refused to testify, so it was dismissed.
You see how funny that is? Do you see what's going on? Here Lisa Leslie is saying, hey, I follow the law, I trust in the law, I trust the judicial system. He was not found guilty by the judicial system, which we already know. A person like Kobe Bryant, a multi-millionaire basketball player, black man, if he was found innocent by the United States government, who is anybody else to say he's still guilty? But no, this woman, instead of saying, yeah, you're right, he wasn't found guilty, she decides to say the specific words that no, the case was dismissed because the victim refused to testify. Now let's break down that real quick. Let's break down the sentence, the case was dismissed because the victim refused to testify. Remember, she could have easily said, you're right, he was proven not guilty, but that would be too much like right. That would be letting him off the hook. And again, her entire job here was to discredit the black man. I've told you before about the ways that they discredit the black man, and many times they use black people to do it. So here's this woman who, instead of saying, yes, Kobe Bryant was not found guilty, she could have easily said that. She decided to say that the case was dismissed because the victim decided to testify. Again, let's break it down. So when you say that the case was dismissed, already you're trying to belittle and downplay the fact that he was not found guilty. Why didn't you just say he was not found guilty? Why do you have to use the words, the case was dismissed, in order to leave open room for discussion or debate? And then the most important part, look what she said at the end. She said, the victim, quote unquote, refused to testify. Two things I need to let you know about this. First of all, you can look up this information yourself. The so-called victim, the white woman that alleged that Kobe Bryant raped her, that white woman, she was found to have over 5 men's semen in her panties on the night in question. This is fact. You can look it up yourself. This is not conspiracy. So this woman who's claiming that this one man raped her, when she was examined forensically for semen residue, they found over 5 men's semen in her panties. But yet, Gayle King didn't bring that up. Gayle King never said that, and she would not say that, because why would she not bring up the fact? A journalist is supposed to be unbiased. But this woman seems to have an agenda when she's bringing up all of the accusations on Kobe. She's calling the person who accused him a victim, but then she's not also saying anything about the so-called accuser. We don't know anything about this accuser. They're just in complete anonymity. How do you say that word? Anonymity. They're just completely anonymous, okay? And we don't know nothing about this woman. All we know is she said Kobe raped her and she had a bunch of dudes' semen in her panties. And again, you didn't say that on TV, because that would make people look at the victim crazy, and you don't want that. You want them to look at Kobe crazy, right? Okay, I see it. But again, she called her a victim when she had 5 different men's semen in her panties, and then she said she refused to testify, so that's why he wasn't found guilty. This is where I said she's very passive-aggressive, and you have to know passive-aggressive people in real life. You have to know sarcastic people in real life to know their true intentions. You can see through a sarcastic person, because I'm sarcastic and passive-aggressive to an extent when I have to be, especially at work. When I have to be professional but still be able to say what the hell I want to say, but I don't want to curse you out because I don't want to get fired, that's called passive aggressive. The victim refused to testify. Refused to testify, to me, that sounds like you're kind of implying that she was coerced or forced or threatened or intimidated into not testifying, Gayle. That's what it sounds like you're suggesting by the fact that you said the victim she refused to testify, so that's why he wasn't found guilty. What are you truly saying, Gayle? What are your true intentions? Also, I need you to notice how right before she goes into the spiel about his rape case, she says, well, many people call Kobe arrogant. What do you think about that?
When people say arrogant and aloof, that's not what you remember about him.
I said this many years ago. It's funny to me that a black man cannot be confident. A black man cannot be confident. If a black man has any confidence in himself and his abilities that he trained hard for or God granted him with, that black man will be called cocky and arrogant. When it's Conor McGregor walking out, cursing in front of everybody, swaying back and forth, repping his flag, cursing people out, that's fine, and that's just beautiful. That's what we want from our athletes. When it's Tom Brady, that's okay, and he's flaunting his 6, 7, 8 rings, that's okay. But when it's somebody such as Kobe Bryant, who put 20 plus years, he played 20 years in the NBA, but he was already #1 in high school. So he's been playing since a young child. He put his entire life and body into his craft, and he gained respect, and he gained millions, and he takes care of his family, and he stayed out of controversy for the most part. He's considered arrogant. You see how they try to slander our name with these words? Remember, words are important. But again, I have to hold it down for Lisa, because Lisa said, yeah, he's arrogant. He's arrogant because he's a great basketball player, and nobody can fuck with him on that court. Because Lisa's also a basketball player. She knows there's a certain level of arrogance that comes with, you can call it arrogance, I guess you can. There's a certain level of confidence, is what I call it, when you've put hours and years into your craft, and you've dedicated and sacrificed for your craft, and you've went lonely, you've been made fun of for your craft. There's a certain level of arrogance, yes, when you succeed, especially when a lot of people are against you. But I guess you wouldn't know that, huh, Gayle? I also need to talk about, because it's very important, as I mentioned in the beginning, how Gayle is friends with Oprah Winfrey. Now, I'm not going to even go too much in it, because that's a whole nother video that I might do, but Oprah Winfrey has made documentaries, or has been involved with documentaries, supposedly exposing the crimes of Michael Jackson after his death, supposedly exposing Russell Simmons. So we see a pattern here where these black women are making documentaries and making valiant efforts to expose the so-called dirty laundry of these black men even after they die. But the funny part about this is that Oprah Winfrey and Gayle King are friends and have been pictured numerous times kissing and hugging Harvey Weinstein. If you don't know who Harvey Weinstein is, he's a very, very famous movie director and movie producer that has been accused of countless acts of sexual violence.
Then he would put his hand up under the table, up my dress. I was trying to save face a bit. At first I was trying to kind of manage the situation.
I don't know how much you were involved, but the Sarah Jessica Parker movie with Skyrocket? Were you using Skyrocket? Some kind of app thing. I don't know, never mind.
At some point, his whole affect changed, and he looked like a predator. His eyes became dark. I worked in an environment that was heavily male-dominated. I thought I could handle it. I had never met anyone that I couldn't handle until Harvey Weinstein.
Melissa says Weinstein came to the hotel lobby and told her to follow him. She assumed they were going to a conference room, but it was Weinstein's hotel room. There, she says, he raped her.
Many actresses have come out against Harvey Weinstein and claimed that he inappropriately touched them and exposed himself to them. And Oprah and Gayle are very close friends with him, and yet they have mentioned nothing at all about Harvey Weinstein. And the one time that Oprah did mention Harvey Weinstein, this is what she said.
Let's talk about what's happening with Harvey Weinstein. I know you posted on Facebook already, but you haven't kind of spoken yet publicly about what's going on.
I think that this is, I'm always trying to look for the rainbow in the cloud, whatever is the silver lining. So I think this is a watershed moment. And if we make this just about Harvey Weinstein, then we will have lost this moment.
Again, noticing the patterns that I've told you in previous videos about the attack on black men, noticing why they're doing it, now we can see the ways in which, the strategies in which, the people in which they use to pull it off. We have people like Oprah and Gayle who seemingly have good intentions, because who doesn't trust Oprah? She's all in Whole Foods, she's in your home, you've seen her since the 90s. Who doesn't trust her? Why would she be out to get black men? I mean, she's with Stedman. Anyway, this is, again, a quick example, or maybe a reason why when Gayle said to Lisa, well, have you seen anything about Kobe being violent towards women? And Lisa said, no, I haven't. This is when Gayle said, well, you wouldn't have seen it, Lisa. You wouldn't have seen it because you're his friend.
I just never have ever seen him being the kind of person that would do something to violate a woman or be aggressive in that way. That's just not the person that I know.
But Lisa, you wouldn't see it though. As his friend, you wouldn't see it.
Two things about that. The first thing is, why would you ask the woman the question if you're just going to try to force her into the answer? You ask the woman if she knows anything about Kobe Bryant being violent towards women. The woman said no. From all of her previous experiences, Kobe Bryant has never displayed that behavior in front of her. What else do you want her to say? You're sitting here trying to convince her that, yeah, well, you probably just don't see it because he's your friend. Or did you mean that because he's your friend, you're not going to call him out on it? That would make a lot more sense as why you didn't call out Harvey Weinstein. Before I end, I want to say a last few things, okay? I want to make this, I didn't want to go in on Gayle King because I know a lot of people are going to make videos about Gayle King. I didn't want my video to get drowned out, even though YouTube hides all my videos anyway. So if you're watching this, it's because you really fuck with me. But I didn't want to make the video get drowned out by talking about Gayle King over and over. I wanted to make the video about Lisa Leslie and how we need to uplift these type of black women who not only understand the fight that we're in and understand the war on black men, but then they are vocal and they do actual things to help the situation against black men, and they don't take the benefits that the government is giving them to tarnish a black man's name. But if I were to say something about Gayle King and get ignorant, I would probably say what Snoop said. And I'm not saying these are Snoop's words, but I felt like it was very important to throw this in. This is for you, Gayle King.
Gayle King. Out of pocket for that shit. Way out of pocket. What do you gain from that? I swear to God, we the worst. We the fucking worst. We expect more from you, Gayle. Don't you hang out with Oprah? Why y'all attacking us? We your people. You ain't coming after fucking Harvey Weinstein asking them dumb-ass questions. I get sick of y'all. I want to call you one. Is it okay if I call her one? Funky dog-head bitch. How dare you try to tarnish my motherfucking homeboy's reputation, punk motherfucker. Respect the family and back off, bitch, before we come get you.
So anyway, back to seriousness. Lisa Leslie, you're a boss. I appreciate you. You're wonderful. Everything else about you, I can't even say the words to describe how appreciative I am and Black American men are for your presence. And you may not think much of it because you're like, what? I just told the truth. You probably don't even think you stood up for him. You probably just said, no, I just said what was true. But that's the thing. In these last days, in this book of Revelations, just speaking the truth is a valiant act. Just speaking the truth, knowing that you can be tarnished yourself, you can have something happen to you. Your security can be threatened by speaking the very truth. That becomes an act of rebellion. So that's why I say thank you for speaking the truth, Lisa. Thank you for understanding the attack against Black men. And thank you for looking that devil in the eyes and telling her that she needs to be more respectful. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? For that, I want to say Lisa Leslie is a perfect example of being on code. This is how we need to be on code. You know, in the hood, we only have a few codes. The only code that I can think of off top that everybody knows in the hood is what? Snitches get stitches. That's not really an efficient code. That's not really it never really got broken down to us. You mean to tell me if my grandmother gets shot and I'm not a gangbanger and I see somebody shoot my grandma, I'm not supposed to tell the cops or I get stitches? That's not okay. We need to reevaluate our traditions and our so-called codes that we have in the hood, and we need to scrape everything that is not productive, everything that is not efficient, everything that comes from slavery or anything that is going to keep us in slavery. We need to throw to the side and just throw it in the garbage disposal, period. We need a new code, and this is how you act in front of Black people and in front of white people and in front of the rest of the world. You don't just air out, you don't just come and try to destroy somebody's name, especially after they're dead and they can't speak for themselves. And that's another thing. Lisa said the man that was like 15 years ago. You had 15 years to ask this man about his legacy and this rape case, but you didn't. But you want to wait till he's dead and talk about he has a complicated legacy. And again, you don't want to bring up this woman's 5 different men's sperm on her panties. Okay. Lastly, she put out an apology. Gayle King put out an apology, quote unquote, or should I say it, a statement, because she never said, you know what, I'm sorry to Kobe Bryant's family, and I'm sorry to that man Kobe Bryant, and I'm sorry to Black men for making y'all feel like I'm attacking y'all. She never said those words because that would be too much like right, and that would be her showing accountability, which we know the devil can never show accountability.
I've been up reading the comments about the interview I did with Lisa Leslie about Kobe Bryant. I know that if I had only seen the clip that you saw, I'd be extremely angry with me too. I am mortified, I'm embarrassed, and I am very angry. Unbeknownst to me, my network put up a clip from a very wide-ranging interview, totally taken out of context, and when you see it that way, it's very jarring. It's jarring to me. For the network to take the most salacious part when taken out of context and put it up online for people who didn't see the whole interview is very upsetting to me, and that's something I'm going to have to deal with them.
It's funny in her statement, she goes on and on about the network and, oh, the network, they chopped up our interview. We had a very beautiful long interview and they chopped it up and they only played those clips. They only played that one clip and I don't understand why they did it. I'm disappointed. But that's a complete bullshit lie, and I'm gonna tell you why before I leave. Gayle, you say that the network chopped up your interview. It very well can be true. Hell, this video's chopped up. I know how to edit videos. I know you don't use every single piece of footage. I know that to fit into a hour-long segment or a 15-long segment, you have to put the most important information in there. I know that. But when you did ask that question, which, hey, let's just be fair. We know that people are gonna ask the question about Kobe Bryant's rape case, but here's the problem, Gayle. Not only did you ask the question, you doubled down on the question and you tried to be biased and you tried to, like I said, throw an alley-oop to this woman to get her to tarnish that man's name. If you're gonna ask the question, just say that. Just simply say, do you believe that his legacy was tarnished because of this charge in 2003 with this woman who accused him of rape and had 5 different men semen in her panties? That's all you gotta say. That's a question, fair enough. And then Lisa Leslie would have said what she said and it would have been the end. But what did you do? When she said, no, I never seen Kobe do that, you said, well, Lisa, you wouldn't have seen it. You wouldn't have seen it if you're his friend. Gayle, where did that part come from? And then, like I said, you said the victim refused to testify, as if to suggest that she had been coerced or threatened into not testifying. You didn't just ask the question, Gayle. You're full of shit, just like your mammy Harpo. And I'm gonna go in on Harpo on another video because that's a bigger demon. But I don't got time for y'all. And like I said, I didn't even want to address this thing because I seen it for what it was. But then when I really thought about it, I started writing notes down and I said, you know what, I got to talk about this because this is an important thing to note. This is a pivotal time in Black America, truly. With the passing of Kobe Bryant, who is one of Black America's biggest icons, we are now seeing all the conversations about him and the surrounding things about Black men that have not been brought out to the light before, or if they were, only a few circles of people are talking about it. But now when they said the Los Angeles niggers, and when they said Kobe Bryant's a rapist, and all this type of stuff, we're seeing that it's a clear and evident attack on Black men, even to the point where white people are speaking about it. Before I go, I want to play this video of a white radio DJ admitting that he sees the attack on Black men from Black women.
This is the second time in a week where there's been a public moment where a Black woman has come out and said the problem with Black men, as if white people don't do that. No, it's only what you're experiencing because that's the world that you're in and you're dealing with Black men. Like, ask white women if they've ever dealt with that experience. So like,
or women from any culture.
I wish people would refrain from trying to label Black men as a whole one thing. It's just not fair.
You see that? So it's not just me saying it. Even white people are now starting to say, okay, y'all bugging. You know it's bad when a white person says, hey, take it easy on them niggas. Think about that now. Of course, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I just want to bring some clarification to this issue. We need to be on code. We need to stay on code. And lastly, I'm calling as a righteous and honest Black man, I'm calling for righteous and honest Black women out there, Black American women, to speak up on behalf of Black men because we are being attacked. If you do not see how Black men are being attacked, please scroll down my videos. You can watch my channel. My Instagram is new_Malcolm_X until they take it down. And I need you to see that there is an attack on Black men. So if you are a Black woman that's watching this and you don't feel offended and you know I'm not bashing you, you know I love you, but you're wondering how you can help as a woman, I need you to make videos. I need you to go out and be vocal. I need you on your social media to speak out against the attack on not only Black people, but Black men in particular, because there is a violent attack on all angles from us. And we have Black women such as Lonnie Love, such as Amanda Seals, who are coming out and saying that Black men and Black men only are the issue.
I am so deeply bothered by this type of thing.
Speak on it. Tell us why.
You know, I'm just going to read my card.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay.
It is so easy to support Black women. It is so easy. It can be done so effortlessly. I think I speak for a lot of sisters when I say it's part of the bigger conversation of Black women earnestly wanting the support from our brothers when we are speaking out and speaking up. And there really should just be a code, because so many sisters feel like so often we're on code and our brothers aren't. And I take heat all the time because there are brothers who don't follow code and have put me in very deleterious situations. And now there's other brothers who think I'm something that I'm not, because other brothers weren't on code. They don't think about Black women again.
You know why? Because it's easy to disregard us.
A lot of Black men, they really don't know how to have true, faithful relationships. They think because they have money, because they have power, that they can treat women any kind of way.
So I need black women to be allies for us and ride for us. Be vocal. Make a video. Expose this. Show the difference. And please, vibrate higher.
You know what? You should listen to your wife, man. She's right. You are an asshole, man.